Welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast, now part of the All City Network. Hit the subscribe button for YouTube and also become a DLLS Diehard at www.alldlls.com. Now here's Jeff and John. Hey everybody, welcome to the DLLS Rangers Weekly Podcast. This is episode number 19, and today Kohl Drake joins us. In fact, Kohl was actually on a little bit early this morning for scheduling conflicts. We had to get Kohl on this morning, so that interview's coming up here in just a little bit. And just an FYI, I was doing some editing and getting it ready, and Jeff, your mic was off, but you're going to sound a little lower, but you're there.
I'm going to sound like I'm in the bathroom participating in a conversation that I'm hearing. And so anyway.
It's all the producer's fault. It's his dadgum fault, and we'll have to get on to him about that. But anyway.
But Cole's great.
Oh, man, it's fantastic.
If you guys haven't had a chance to talk to him, breakthrough guy last year, good dude from Wiley, Texas. So
yes,
right up the highway from you, John. That's where
exactly.
I believe that's where Kelly Durrett teaches in that area now. So
listen to these numbers.
Anyway, Kohl Drake.
Yeah, we didn't talk about left-handed pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Last year, he really had a breakout season, 2024. 23 games, started 19 games. He went from low A down east through Hickory, ended in Frisco with a combined 2.29 ERA, 148 strikeouts in 106 innings. That's why Kohl Drake is on the show, because
that's why he's in big league camp. That's
why he's in big league camp. And we'll talk to him all about that later. We got to get into the big league stuff. Spring training, you're heading out Tuesday
night, so I'll be there bright and early for the first day of pitchers and catchers workouts.
So
first day of spring training, yeah.
You and I are going to be out there March the 3rd through March 9th. Guys, I don't know if you're heading out to spring training at all. If you're going to be out there that week, for sure, let us know. It's pretty busy, but I'll be walking around especially and could come out and meet you guys and want to meet him. We do it every year. We run into people that listen to the show, and now they're listening hopefully to the daily show, which today's was good, but yesterday's was fantastic. You guys in studio, you had Chris Young and Ross Fitzgermaker.
Yeah. We been working on that one for a while, and all the stars finally aligned. Their workloads have decreased right now. They're pretty much ready to go with what they've got. They have some things they need to take care of. Ross just had a baby, so they're still adjusting to life with 2 kids, and then Chris's kids are older, but he still wants to pay attention to them, and took his wife out to lunch after our show. And his daughter plays basketball for Highland Park, and they're in the playoffs, so he's not coming out till Tuesday as well, because they have a game Monday night, and then they have a game Friday if they win, so he'll be flying back for the game. Their son, Grant, he plays a lot of basketball and baseball, so these guys are humans. Their jobs are pretty cool, but very demanding, and a lot of attention's on them. But they still have personal lives and things that they got to take care of, like you and me, John.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grant, I can remember. Is it Grant? Is that his name? Grant. I can remember when you and I remember that year that the Rangers in the fall came around and played all the different schools. Yeah, and they played over here at Dallas Baptist.
Right.
And CY was out there with Grant. Grant was about 11 or 12, and he was as tall as I was.
Well, he's 9. Because he and Henry are the same age.
So now what is he now?
I don't know how tall he's 12. Henry's 12.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He's got to be taller than me by now, because he was almost as tall as me then.
Well, apparently he's a pretty good little basketball player, as you might imagine. Chris Young was a hell of a basketball player.
Yeah, Princeton basketball player and pitcher. But, one of the things you guys talked about, one of the things that I want to talk about heading into spring training, look, there's a lot of great prognosticators that are really picking the Rangers to do well this year.
Yeah. The latest one, I guess, that a lot of people seem to like is Pacoda. That's a formula that an algorithm that simulates the seasons and all that. And I always feel like their win totals are low overall. But
they have 85. So they have
it was 87, I think. Okay. I don't recall. But
winning the West.
Yeah, they're if not, they're I think the second favorite by a couple of people to win the American League and play in the World Series. And,
right.
You kind of look at this roster and the one that they had in 2023 to start the year, and you can argue that this year's roster is better.
Yep.
So you got to play them. Of course, you got to stay healthy, and that's the big thing right now. That's
the part I was going to try to say.
That was the key takeaway I thought from what Chris Young said yesterday, is that all those guys that were hurt last year, either early in the season or at the end of the season or both, are all healthy except for Josh Spores, and we knew that Josh Young.
Josh Spores.
Josh Young is healthy. Not hurt. Josh Young is healthy. Evan Carter is healthy. Adolis Garcia, who was hurt at the end of last year, is healthy. Trying to think of everybody else who had medical issues. I don't know, but the big one is the Jacob deGrom is healthy.
And I would argue this. A lot of people would agree with me. When going, might be the best pitcher in baseball. Honestly, with his stuff and what he throws, he might be the best pitcher.
Well, and I think his health or anticipated health is the reason for some of these.
Yeah. They're expecting
high lofty projections for the Rangers. If Jacob deGrom makes 25 starts, the Rangers are going to be in great shape. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I've said this many times. You and I have talked about Jacob. I've talked about him. What a nice guy he is. We've seen him for the last 2 years. He's an unbelievably nice guy. He's very polite when you see him in the clubhouse. Obviously, we don't have a lot to talk to him about when he was on the IL. Hey, where are you at? Oh, I'm starting to do this or that. Always very cordial, very nice, smiles, do all of that. But man, at the end of last year when he was pitching, and by the time he got up to the big leagues, there was a different smile on his face, and you could see that was a healthy Jacob deGrom. And he was a little bit different than he was being friendly. He was always a friendly guy, but you could see the excitement that, hey, I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, rehabbing is boring. It's tedious. It's the same thing every day. It feels like progress is hard to come by just because you're throwing, at 75 feet, let's say.
Yep.
For 2 or 3 weeks in a row. And you increase your throws, but that's it. And then that's it. You probably do some conditioning stuff and some little weight stuff, but it's nothing like he was experiencing there with the rehab starts. And then ultimately those last 3 starts he made at the end of the year. Jacob, I think we've said this before, feels at ease in a smaller media market for sure. It's a big deal every time he pitches. And it seems like there's 1 or 2 more reporters and maybe 1 or more TV cameras after his starts, but it's nothing like
New York,
what he came from in New York. And, so anyway,
it's why he's friendly.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's friendly because of the way he was brought up and his family and everything, but yeah, he's just a friendly guy. And I don't know that,
but I mean, more at ease. That's right. The word should have been more at ease.
More at ease. Yeah. Yeah. So that's,
I guarantee in New York, if he'd been going through this in New York, every day that he was in the clubhouse, 5 people at least would come around him wanting to know what he felt.
Yeah.
Every freaking day.
If he even came in the clubhouse. I don't know. But anyway, that's the thing I've said several times I'm looking most forward to this season. And, he's got 6 weeks of spring training to get through, and we'll see if he starts at opening day or the next day. But
yes.
Anyway, well, that's something to look forward to. And again, that's why I think it goes to what Chris Young was talking about, everybody being healthy, and then B, that's why a lot of these formulas and prognosticators like the Rangers, because they know Jacob deGrom is, they don't know. They anticipate that Jacob deGrom is going to pitch more than he has for a few years.
I put the over-under at 25, and I don't even think it's a bad thing if I say maybe below that, if he starts 22, 23 games. Yeah. I really think it's foolish to go out and have him throw 175 innings. I think that you get him going, get him rolling, and it's easy to skip a start, go do a bullpen, let somebody else do it, and keep him ready, because if this team's as good as everyone thinks, you want him fresh going towards that stretch. You want him fresh going into the playoffs. That's the guy you want, and this is a guy that has not thrown a lot of innings in 2 years.
Yeah.
So you want to do that. My point about what they were saying yesterday, what you were just hinting at and what we've talked about, is going into spring training, even the last couple of years, you would hear about right before spring training was starting, well, when we get there, so-and-so's not going to be, he's going to be doing rehab or some other stuff because something happened during the offseason. This one had a little surgery or someone did that. He might be shut down for a couple of weeks getting into it. And I don't care what anyone says. You need your full spring training to really get going. And yes, there will be injuries in spring training. There'll be guys that feel tightness on something, so maybe they won't play for a few days.
Yeah.
But starting first day, it's good to be in there the first day getting your work and then maybe missing just a little bit and then getting it going, as opposed to you're heading in already. You're having to get treatment every day and do stuff like that, because inevitably someone gets something that goes a little sideways on them while they're getting ready.
Sure. And, spring training, there's time. Maybe, I mean, this happened in 23, Jacob showed up the first day and had soreness and it was oblique, and it was a national story, and so I think that, but he still was the starter on opening day.
Started 6 games.
And he wasn't built up as far as he wanted to be, but that's okay. It's a long season. You got time. It's not ideal, no, but the days of these guys getting built up to, the goal is to be able to go 7 innings, 105 pitches, but sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Even that year, Evaldi and Gray were both shut down for a little while in spring training. John Gray woke up one day and his back hurt, so they scratched him, and anyway,
they don't take a chance.
Yeah, you're not taking a chance here. So anyway,
I wouldn't be at work any day of the week if I woke up with something hurting and decided,
exactly.
They're going to shut me down today.
Exactly. So
these guys that you're going to take, I'm excited about that, is that they're all going into this thing healthy. Knock on wood that nothing serious happens. I know there's going to be little tweaks and, people feel tightness and and something in the back hurts for one day or do whatever. And it's always the same thing, precautionary. We're helping him out, letting him straight. I'll tell you another thing that I know, by the time I got there that year, Jacob deGrom's first year, I always come in March. When I came, he was already back to pitching again. And he started a couple of games, but they were minor league games.
Right.
And they don't expose him a lot to the other pitching. They keep him back there on the backfields and let him go after it.
Yeah, he won't pitch against, all likelihood, and he won't pitch against the Mariners and the AL teams, the Angels. Who else? A's. Yeah, I guess the Astros are the only ones, not division teams. That's not in Arizona. So and that's fine. And when you put him in a game like that, you can control it. If he gets to an inning where he's at 20 pitches, it's like, all right, well, this inning's over. Roll it.
Yep.
They roll the inning, and then he goes and sits down and contemplates and comes back. So there's just a lot of ways to go about it in spring training. But the key to this whole last 10 minutes is that the Rangers are going into spring training fully healthy, with the exception of Josh Sborz.
Right. Okay, so I got a couple questions we're going to ask looking into spring training, and part of it going in. One of the questions I've really been asked. Look, this lineup is immensely improved. They've got a couple good bats this offseason. They went and addressed a left-handed and a right-handed bat. Nathaniel Lowe has obviously been traded. He's not on the team anymore. We know that Jake Berger, Missouri State University,
That's
Berger,
right.
Don't
forget about that.
Yeah, stop. That's where my son goes to school, and had a good long talk with him and his family about that. Anyway, Jake's going to be playing first base most of the time, but he can't play every game at first base.
That's true.
So I'm looking at the current roster, and I've tried to figure out, if you had to choose, who do you think, besides Berger, is going to be the guy that gets more games at first base?
Yeah, it's set up for Ezekiel Duran, I think. He can play there. He can play anywhere. I think he played everywhere last year except pitcher and catcher.
Yeah.
And he did well in the outfield, especially showing off his arm. Teams were testing him, and he did just fine with it. And so I think that's kind of plan A at this point. He's an optional player. They really like him. Where he's going to get his when he gets his at bats, it's going to be a question. But he is a right-handed hitter. Jake Berger is a right-handed hitter.
Right.
If there's a badass starter going in there against righties, would you want a left-handed bat? Well, does that mean you give Josh Smith games there? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he could play first base.
Yep.
I like the idea of Dustin Harris.
That's a name I never thought of.
Who's came up as a third baseman, then they moved him to first.
Played a lot of first in the minor leagues.
Played a lot in his breakout year. And then they're like, well, this guy's really athletic. Let's make him an outfielder, and he is super athletic.
Hey,
but
that's something to watch during.
he played well. He got called up at the end of the year. Played the last 2 games. The first one I think was an offer, but the second one he hit a home run and a double, and he's a prospect. And you might as well give it a shot. I mean, let
me tell you what.
If you think it's a need having a backup first baseman who's a left-handed hitter, Dustin Harris.
That's the guy. Unless Peterson, I know Peterson has played first base.
He has,
but not a lot.
Yeah,
and there's a big premise on Bochy likes good defense. He's always preached it. He's done so. He likes good defense. I never thought of Harris, but if Harris does, let's say, make this team as that guy to be a backup first baseman, utility guy, because he can play all the outfield positions too. I mean, probably not center field, but he's a corner outfielder.
He's played the night we were in Round Rock for our podcast.
He was playing center field.
He was in center field.
So, but that's at the expense of someone probably like Ezekiel Duran, who has options, who could be down. I mean, but that's it's going to be interesting to see when you get to spring training. This is always the little things you look for in the background. People don't notice it. When you get out, guys, you got to go to spring training if you've never been. You can go around and watch these guys take their infield in the morning, their practices. It's open to the public. It's like being at a softball or a little league baseball complex. Those fields are just, you can walk right up to the fence and watch the guy 20 feet away do it or whatever. But the thing to watch, and that you and I usually watch for, is all of a sudden you're noticing, well, wow, who's over there taking ground balls at first base?
Yeah.
Josh Young took ground balls at first base. That's just throwing something against the wall there. I didn't see that, but that's an obvious position you're going to have to watch. I'm sure you're going to see Peterson take ground balls over there for sure.
Yeah.
Since he is a guy that's played it before. Probably see Smith take some ground balls over there. Bochy brought that up, that he thought he could play first base.
Right.
And as good a defender as he is, I have no doubt he could probably play first base. I mean, but and again, it could be if the right-hander just has great numbers against Berger. It's not even about you necessarily needing a left-handed back. It's just that Berger's had no success against this guy. Maybe Duran's the guy, and he's just a different right-handed bat against the guy.
I mean, there are ways to go about it. And they don't have to have a platoon partner for Jake Berger because he does hit right-handers.
He does hit right-handers. Yeah. It would be one of those. You look at the numbers, and it's like, wow, this guy's 1 for 34 against this guy.
Sure,
18 strikeouts. Let's give him a day off.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get someone else in there and do that. But that was a question I was asking. Obviously, the closer row's been, y'all talked about it yesterday. The closer row, there are some guys on the team that are internal candidates. One of them being Chris Martin, one of them being Jacob Webb. Who else?
Well, Sean Armstrong was another signee. I don't know about Robert Garcia. I haven't seen him pitch. I know his stuff. He's young. He's a big guy. He's a burly fella.
Throws hard too.
I don't know about how we feel about left-handed closers out there. I'm not a big fan of them, but whatever.
Ron Rocker, when he
I mean, Billy Wagner just went into the Hall of Fame. So you got to get to camp and let it sort itself out. But I think right now they're leaning toward on the experience factor. But I think these guys are all basically 1-year deals. The Rangers have some guys coming up: Mark Church, Skylar Hales, maybe Emiliano Teodo, who throw the piss out of it and have closer stuff. I'm going to let the Rosarios and Teodos continue to start.
Sure.
But
wouldn't you?
Hales and Church are relievers.
Yeah.
They're going to be in big league camp.
And Church throws 100 miles an hour, right around it.
Church, I think he makes the opening day roster. I don't know that they add a closer. I mean, it's possible to do. I mean,
everybody, I've said this before. The year they won the World Series, who had the most saves?
Will Smith.
Okay, was that your plan going into spring training?
Yeah, no, it wasn't, and I get it.
The one guy that can handle the bullpen better than anybody is the manager of the Texas Rangers. I mean, this is a guy that works miracles with the bullpen.
Yeah, and these things will all sort themselves out, and the off season is not the only time to acquire help. You can. There's a trade deadline,
sure.
and you can trade before then. I mean, last year the Rangers traded for Robbie Grossman, I think, in May. You can go out and get your help right away if you feel like it's that much of a need. But keep in mind that Spores will be coming back at some point in June, maybe
he
July.
Is a closer. He closed the World Series.
He got the biggest out in Rangers history. So it's just going to be an evolving situation. And you have the guys like Church, who made his debut last year, Colwyn, who made his debut last year. Daniel Robert, Daniel Robert had a hell of a run there at Round Rock
yes,
in the middle of last season, where he went like a whole 6 weeks without allowing a run. And I know they don't pitch as much in the minors, but there are options, guys on options, and that's a big deal. You're going to have guys who are moved up and down, and based on need, and if there's a lack of performance or an injury, well, I guess injury falls into need. But also, what are the Rangers going to do with deGrom? Are they going to limit him? Are they going to limit Rocker? These guys who are hurt last year, do they need guys to piggyback? So does Jack Leiter become a piggyback of Jacob deGrom, and does Cody Bradford or Dane Dunning become a backup to a piggybacker with Kumar Rocker? Well, if so, and they can only pitch 2 days, or maybe on their bullpen day, if they can only pitch, let's say 2 to 3 times a week, well, that puts a heavier load on the other 6. So you're going to need an optimal guy. So signing a closer might actually hinder the Rangers a little bit as far as the bullpen roster flexibility. Now, obviously, if you can go get, I don't know if the best one out there is even, who is the best one? I mean,
it's available.
Kenley Jansen. I don't know.
Jansen's out there.
He's the biggest name.
What about Daniel? What about Robertson?
David Robertson, fantastic. I would be fine with that. But I don't.
Kirby Yates wasn't signed to be the closer last year.
That's right. He also was only signed for $4.5 million. I don't think Robertson was signed for $11.5 million. So I don't know that a $4.5 million closer is out there right now. I think that, and I don't know what the price is, but if it's the right guy and the Rangers can catch Ray Davis in the right mood, then maybe he's like, yeah, screw the CBT. Let's go over it and get this guy. If that's the one missing piece from keeping this team from being great, let's not go into the season with a glaring weakness.
I mean, let me tell you right now, and it just dawned on me right now. Let's say that none of these guys that are on the market right now before spring training get signed, they're not getting big league offers right now. Jensen, all of them. Who's the most attractive minor league deal for a team to go to? Is probably the Rangers.
Sure.
You can come in there and they don't have a set closer.
Yeah.
I closed for a long time. Some deal where if you make the big league team, you're going to make $2 million, something like that. That's kind of some of the deals they'll do. Now that's if they don't catch on with somebody or get signed, which you imagine they probably would get.
They'll get major league deals. Yeah.
But if that price is not there and they're not getting what they want, they're obviously still got enough in the arm to go another year.
Sure.
For sure. But if there's minor league, if for relievers that have maybe been closers before that don't get big league deals, the Rangers would seem like a good spot to take a minor league deal with an invite. And it would be a good chance to maybe make a team.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I just put them on the 40-man now, just if sure. They're going to the 40-man, do it now. I mean, you can 60-day Spores and open up a spot.
I was about to ask that. When's
first day of spring training?
He can immediately go on the 60. So that's going to open a spot right there. We already know he's going on the 60-day deal.
Yeah, I mean they can hold it until they actually need it. But yes, he is.
He knows he's already going on the 60-day.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's just a matter of let me know when I'm going on. It doesn't matter to him. He's going on the IL. We know it because he's probably not due back till halfway through the season, right?
Well,
some said June. You said
June. I would say June, early July right now, but I'm not sure. But
2 months at least.
Yeah, that's definitely 60 days.
Yeah. So that that makes sense. Now, what was the other thing I was gonna? I forget.
Well, that's all right. But yeah, so Wednesday will be guys will be throwing bullpens. That's a Mike Maddox thing. I'll be out there from the night of the 11th to the night of the 21st. So
you're going 10 days. That's your big
10 days, but 9 days of camp. That's my big trip, and then
your big one.
We'll have ours where
we're going on a Tuesday night, and then we're coming back Sunday night.
I thought we were going out on a Monday night. I think we're going out on a Monday, and then we'll be there for 6 days.
Right.
And then I'm going to come back at the end of the month on the 18th, which is a night game. So I will fly in that morning and then be there the last 5 days of camp. When all the news happens.
Yeah, you've been there for the last, even when we were Rangers today, you were always there for the roster decisions.
Yeah.
Being there. A lot of stuff to happen, guys. I can't stress it enough. If you've never been out to spring training, it's a must see for any good baseball fan, any good Ranger fan. So this the closest you'll get to these guys. You better get up close and get some good video of them while they're doing that. Go to those backfields. All these minor leaguers that you've heard about, I mean, they're all going to be in one place. You can go see them. Of course, they get to Frisco and you're a Metroplex person. You can go over there and watch them too, which Kohl Drake, by the way, who's about to join us, was probably going to end up there. Don't you think?
I think so. Yeah.
It's where he ended the season.
He doesn't have anything else to prove in A-ball. So
yeah, that's it. Anything else?
No, let's end our portion of it. Yep. And then
here's the Kohl Drake interview. Good kid that read this. And we're going to go right after this. Kohl Drake's joining us. Guys, and joining us right now from Arizona, where he's already at, his Texas Rangers left-handed pitcher Kohl Drake is joining us. Kohl, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Just got here out in Arizona. Ready to get after my first big league camp and spring training this year.
Yeah, that's got to be exciting. I know you were here for the what they call the leadership meetings and at the ballpark. And spent a couple of days here and went to a mini camp in Arizona. When did you get the word that you were going to be in big league spring training?
I got the word it was the Friday. I can't remember the exact date. It was like the last day for the January mini camp here in Arizona.
Okay.
They informed me before I left, so pretty cool experience.
So you flew home to Wiley. I guess you can't fly to Wiley, but you flew home to DFW, drove to Wiley, packed up your stuff, and headed right back.
Pretty much, yeah. I spent about one last week at home. Said goodbye to all the guys I train with, to my family, and headed out a little early, just to get out here early, I guess.
Yeah, I did talk to you at that leadership deal because I never met you before. And, yeah, I mean, it's a good group of local guys you work out with. And I think you said Luke Savage is one of them, the former TC reliever who's now with the Rangers also.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's salt of the earth.
Yeah.
But how long have you known him?
I've known him since the 2023 off season. When I started working out there, that was when I first kind of met him and got to know him a little bit. And he's just an awesome dude.
Did your paths ever cross in high school? I mean, I think he went to a private school.
No, he was a couple years younger than me, and he did go to a private school. So we never played against each other at all, even in summer ball or anything. So.
Well, now playing here locally? By the way, guys, he's from Wiley, Texas. That's up by me. I live up in Richardson, Texas. Did you play for any of like the Dallas Tigers or any of those teams around here that very notable that have some major leaguers that come out of there?
I played for the Texas Sticks, so they were based out of Grapevine, and I played for a few other teams, kind of locally in the area. But that was the one that I kind of played for the most amount of time.
All right. So you go to a smaller college, Arkansas Tech, then on to Walter State, where you guys and I mean, just straight kicked ass for like 2 years. You won a couple national championships. I remember when you were drafted 11th round. I mean, the 11th round pick, the way the draft is structured now, is a big deal. I mean, that's I know it's day 3, but it's still when the teams get to go back and circle back and really can get the guy they want. So, I mean, you had 160 strikeouts in 93 innings or something outrageous like that. But then it wasn't great your first kind of season in Pro Bowl. So what changed the most for you, do you think?
I kind of got away from what I was good at. I was in junior college specifically, especially my last year, I was a strike thrower. I think I had 17 walks in those 93 innings, something like that. And my first affiliate season, when I got called up to Down East through 2023, I was really struggling to throw strikes. And my breaking stuff wasn't quite the same, and the velocity was kind of down a little bit. And so all those kind of factors kind of led into some struggles. And then going into that offseason, I was like, well, I just need to get back to what I do good, which is throwing strikes with all my pitches.
I mean, that sounds as basic as possible, like no strikes. Everybody says that from the time you're playing for the 9U Texas Six to whatever. But did the Rangers kind of reinforce that? Did they try to simplify anything for you?
Yeah, I mean, they kept it really simple. They gave me like my end of season report, and they were like, this is what you were good at and this is what you struggled with. And so that is essentially what kind of led to me being like, well, yeah, I had a higher walk rate. My zone percentage was terrible. I wasn't getting ahead in the count. So these were all things that I looked at and I was like, well, in its simplest form is I just need to throw more strikes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. To your point, in 46 and 2/3 innings in 23, you walked 20 guys. Last year in 106, you walked 31. So, and then those strikeouts kind of jumped again. So, I also, we had Jim Callis on our show here, I don't know, right after.
A couple weeks ago, about a month ago.
Christmas, yeah. Or before Christmas. I don't know. It was after the winter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. And their scouting report at Pipeline says you also kind of got in shape.
Yes.
What led to that?
Give me some pointers.
Well, yeah, I had been going through some physical changes in a bad way, kind of after I got drafted, and so that was also one of the big goals, was to kind of shed some of that weight and really dial in on some nutrition that off season, just to kind of get my body moving a little bit better. And I was able to kind of achieve that pretty quickly that off season, and I came back and I guess it worked out. So
you do it.
Personally, I did for a little bit. I don't always do this, but I did some intermittent fasting, so I wouldn't eat for. I'd wake up at 7 in the morning and I wouldn't eat my first meal until about 1. And then after that, I'd try to eat in a smaller window. So like from 1 to like 6 would be like my eating window. I'd only eat then. And then after 6, I wouldn't eat again until the next day at like 1 o'clock.
That kind of jump started you, I guess.
Yeah, I think it really kind of kick-started my metabolism a little bit. I don't know if that really works for everybody, but that's kind of what worked for me. So.
You're younger. Your metabolism's probably easier to get kicking.
Yeah, I went and got some tests done, and they were like, "You really just gotta, watch what you're putting in, and your metabolism will shoot up." And so I was like, "All right, let's do it."
All right, and so, so when at what point last year, or maybe after the 23 season, did you just feel like, all right, I'm on the right track? Was it that stint you had down east where you were just dominant, or was it like in spring training?
I think I kind of figured that I was going to have a better season after my first outing at Down East of the year we played. My first outing was against Carolina on the road, and that was a team that I pitched against the previous year. Pretty similar lineup to the previous year, and they had kind of gotten on me a little bit. And so when my first outing of the year, I think I went 4 shutout innings and had 6 strikeouts. So I figured that was like kind of the turning point of where I knew that I was going to have a little bit better of a season going forward. But I did have some early that year. I did have some ups and downs, and then after in the first month, I think I figured it out. I had some rough outings, but
you had that random outing at Frisco.
I did, yes.
It's like, you can look at the game log. It's like Down East, Frisco, Down East, Down East, Down East, Down East, Down East, Down East. That one it looked like you walked a couple too many guys. But after that, though, it was just, if you take away that one outing, that's getting back to what you wanted to do. Now, fastball velocity also picked up. Is that because of the athleticism, or did you go to a training place, start training some tread or driveline stuff?
I think, yeah, the weight shedding definitely helped because I was able to move a lot more efficiently down the mound.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really see the velocity jump quite until right about when I got called up to Hickory is
Okay.
when I really saw the velocity kind of jump up a little bit. And I think that is more so just from the amount of innings that I was throwing. Like for most guys, the more innings you throw, the more your arm is conditioned and kind of the more better you feel essentially.
Sure. And this happens with Latin guys. They don't do so well in the cold.
Yeah,
Well, it's warm. Your body loosens up. And,
for sure.
yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like a year ago at this time, you couldn't have envisioned yourself being where you are right now. Is that
Not
fair
at
to say?
all. Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. So when you get this opportunity, what does it mean to you?
It's it's a big opportunity, and I'm obviously very grateful. At the core, I'm just very happy to have put myself in a position like this, and um, I just can't wait to see what goes on this year.
Yeah. Have you been given any guidelines about what to do at your first week league camp? Like be the first one there, or don't talk, or anything like that.
Um, I haven't really been told anything. I think I'm just gonna kind of figure it out as I'm there and
Yeah.
kind of play by ear. Just kind of keep things, just make sure I'm going through my routine and doing what I need to do to get ready to throw is all I'm really gonna do. So
Yeah. So what did you take from the leadership meetings that they had? Pretty good group of guys, kind of maybe the next wave of prospects, if you will, to hit the big leagues. I know that Ross Nessmaker and Chris Young were very excited. There are a lot of times you guys just kept peppering them with questions. What did you come away with?
I mean, they gave us a boatload of information. A lot of it was kind of how everything works at the big league level, and so it was very insightful to kind of know and understand what happens. When you get called up, what happens if you get optioned. What their respective jobs are for everyone who talked to us. I mean, that was down to the clubhouse manager, the head of security, travel manager, all that stuff. Like just understanding how everything works when you're there was all very insightful.
That's pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, it's a big change once you get up to the big leagues. I tell you what, so it's probably a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing is, you get called up, hooray, you're on the 40-man roster. Oh man, I now have all these options, and you may be up for 24 hours, and then the next thing you know, you're back.
And it's never indicative of what you've done. It's always when you're the new guy, it's that, you've got options. We need you today, but you know what? I got to have that spot for the next 10 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's what they're probably letting them know too. It ain't personal right now.
Yeah. I asked Ross about that because I was definitely curious about the options, and he did a very good job of explaining like, well, a lot of the times it's not about your performance, it's about just the team need. And, that kind of cleared up that area for me because I was very curious about that.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's always guys, every year, and they put a limit on it. You can only be optioned 5 times now.
Yeah.
Because then the Rays just used it a couple years ago. I think they optioned one guy 11 times. Just call him up, send him in. And so that's a good thing. That's a good rule change. But
yeah,
it should be don't be offended when they say, hey.
No, they did great. They told us like if you're getting an option, like make sure you ask Bochy, ask CY, ask Ross, like why you're getting sent down, so you have an explanation as to why. I was like, that's pretty insightful to me. Everyone wants to know why. Everyone wants to stay there. So
right,
sure.
Well, the pitching coach too. Mike Maddox, the best recent example is Walter Pennington. Gets acquired in a trade first of all, then gets called up and goes not right back down, but pretty quick, and Mike Maddox said, "Hey, we need you to throw your fastball." So he went to AAA and threw his fastball, and when he came back up, he was better off for it. So
Yeah.
These guys know what they're doing.
For sure.
Who was at the pitching mini camp from a coaching perspective?
Mike Maddox was there. Jordan Teagues was there. That was it for the pitching side, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were there helping us, taking us through like some information that they give to starters and relievers before games, like at the big league level. So that was also insightful.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. And then of course you guys know Jordan so well. Just the last couple of years, he was your pitching coordinator. So it's a pretty good move for the Rangers, I thought. So, all right. So the way the show works, if you hadn't been warned, is I ask the baseball stuff, and then John here comes in with a little bit more of the get to know Kohl Drake stuff. So, John, fire away.
Yeah. So, and this is fun. Look, Jeff, when you're out there, you're heading out next week, right?
I leave on Tuesday.
On Tuesday?
I'll be there Wednesday morning, right?
We'll both be out during March, so I'm going to definitely come find you, say hello, and talk to you. But you're a local guy, Wiley, Texas. So now, wait, Wiley has 2 high schools now. Did you go to the Pirates or Wiley East?
I'm a Wiley Pirate.
Okay, so I always ask this for the guys that played ball in there. You played baseball, obviously. Did you play anything else when you were in high school?
I did not. I was solo baseball.
Now, did you do that junior high also and before, and when you were a kid? Any other sports you played?
So the Wiley didn't have baseball in junior high school, so I think I did PE. I think I was just in like PE class, and I just did summer baseball.
Yeah.
I didn't play any other sports. Baseball's kind of the only thing I was good at. So
you're 6'5".
Yeah.
I wasn't always that tall. I think I didn't hit 6 feet until my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah. So I had a growth spurt in high school, and it's kind of where I kind of shot up.
Yeah. Your basketball career was over.
Okay. Yeah. So were you looked at all coming out of high school? Were you at all about possibly being drafted? Did you know any scouts were checking you out?
No, not at all. I think I topped out at about 83 in high school. So me even having a Division II offer was,
okay.
I just had to take it because it was kind of the best offer I had. And then going from there, I had a really good summer after my freshman year of college and decided to transfer to a junior college to give myself the best opportunity to play at the highest level. So,
where is Arkansas Tech?
It is in Russellville, Arkansas. It's about an hour and a half outside of Little Rock.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And where's Walter State? It's
in Tennessee.
Tennessee? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So you get to Walter State, your 11th round pick, your second year at Walter State. When was it at Walter State that you started to realize, hey, you know what? I might be able to become a professional baseball player. Was there a point where you started seeing scouts or they were talking to you? Or was that at Walter State? Was it at Arkansas State or Tech? Or
it wasn't until my first year at Walters, I thought maybe I have a chance at getting drafted and getting into pro ball. And then it didn't happen after my first year. And so when I decided to go back, I was like, it's kind of all or nothing. Like I'm going back to get drafted. That was kind of my main goal, and that's what ended up happening. So I worked really hard, especially that fall of 2021. Before that season, I was working my tail off trying to get into the best shape I could to get drafted. So
when did the scouts? Were you talking to scouts then? They were actually there and seeing you. And
I talked to a few. I think I didn't actually until after the season was when I was getting like Zoom call meetings with different scouts from different organizations. And that's when I thought, okay, this is like actually kind of coming down to the wire. It's going to, we'll see.
I always love to ask about where you were when you got drafted, but I want to ask one more question. So you're starting to talk to scouts. Now you went to the community college. You're obviously, you did well there. Did you have any D1 schools by then? Were they any of them reaching out saying, hey, do you want to come play in any D1 ball?
I did. I had quite a few schools reach out to me during the season, and I kind of told all of them the situation. I was like, hey, like I'm really, really looking to go into pro ball. Like, I don't want to, commit to you guys, and then all of a sudden, I'm not going to show up because I got drafted. Um, I think the biggest school that I was really talking to was OU.
Yeah.
And that was right before the draft. They were telling me that they really wanted me. And I was like, I would love to go there. I'm going to wait to see what happens with the draft, because that is my main goal, is to go into pro ball. So if I have an opportunity, I'm just going to take it.
Right. But if you didn't get drafted for any reason, then you had a place you probably could have gone and played.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, 11th round. So you see these first round picks, you see the big spectacle they put on for the draft now, and all these guys show up. We were at the one when they had it here in Dallas last year. I was out at the draft. Where were you at, and how did you find out you'd been drafted?
I was at home, and we were watching. So we watched day one. We watched day two. My agent had told me that there was a chance that I could get taken day two, so we were watching it all day. Didn't happen, and then day three, I think the draft was starting about 1:00 Central Time, and so we were all sitting around the couch, and it turned on. I think it was within like 5 minutes of turning it on, I was drafted, and so it was pretty surreal moment, just sitting on the couch around my family, my friends.
They didn't call you ahead.
They didn't call you ahead of time?
No, they didn't. My agent did, though. He told me, he was like, "Hey, you might want to watch. Like, just make sure it's on." And so we had it on.
Who's your agent?
His name is Randy Waite.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So we always have to get in. You're a Texas guy. Have you ever had the In-N-Out burgers? There's a few of them around here now. So,
Yeah.
The big debate is the Whataburger, In-N-Out burger. I mean, which way do you lean?
I'm Whataburger all the way.
That's a Texas boy right there.
Yeah. I've always preferred that over In-N-Out. So
How do you get your Whataburger?
Yeah, what's your go-to?
I like the patty melt. Just a patty melt meal with fries and a drink.
Okay.
Can't go wrong there, baby. That's one of my favorites.
I get the one with bacon, no tomato.
That's a good one too.
Yeah.
It's also a good option.
When that company bought out Whataburger, everybody wanted, but right now I hadn't seen it. I haven't seen a big change. It's still one of my favorites. So,
okay.
In going in there. So what's a big thing you like to do outside of baseball? Do you hunt? Do you fish? Do you video games? A lot of those guys are gamers. I mean, what stuff you do outside of baseball?
Yeah, I definitely play some video games. I like to play with my teammates. I say the other biggest thing I do is I golf. I try to get out and golf as much as I can in the off season. That's probably my favorite thing to do outside of baseball.
What's your handicap?
Yeah.
I think it's about a 5 right now.
That's pretty.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
All right. Who are you? Are you the best player on your team? Like you've played with some guys. So I'm taking them.
Yeah. I don't like to say I'm the best. A lot of other people like to call me the best, but I'm not. I've played with people like who beat me all the time. So
okay.
Definitely not the best.
You swing right-handed or left-handed?
I do swing right-handed.
Okay. So what's the best part of your game? Are you pretty straight, long, or is your short game pretty good? What's the best part?
I can hit the driver out there pretty far. That's about the best thing. I'd say that or my iron game. I usually tend to be pretty solid with my irons. Everything else is kind of, especially putting and chipping, is usually in shambles. So
That's the
hardest thing to master.
It is the hardest thing.
You play around.
What was that?
Where do you play around here?
I like to play Pecan Hollow in Plano. That's like my favorite local course. If I want to splurge a little bit, I'll go out to the Colony and play the Tribute.
Okay,
that's another really good one.
That's a pretty cool course. That really is. Yeah,
Nice.
Are you gonna? Did you bring clubs with you to spring
Sorry,
training? Did you bring your clubs?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you probably know this, but Cole Wynn is a fantastic golfer.
I've heard
that I'm talking to him. It's a different level. I mean, I'm not very good. Mike Maddox is sensational.
He's great. We played in a tournament with him. He is good.
He's 62, or he's going to be 62. He still hits it pretty good off the tee. But like, if you say, like the guy we're playing with, was another good golfer.
Yes.
Leon Roberts, former big league outfielder in the 70s. It's like, all right, just, we want to hit it up the right side, hit it up to that tree. Mike Maddox will hit the tree. I mean, it's unbelievable. And he can putt too.
So oh my gosh.
Try to get out with him.
Yeah.
Try to get out. Just say, hey, you need a fourth or, whatever. Try to get in this group.
I'll tell you what.
You'll have a good time. For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And a great guy, too. So you couldn't be in better hands than have that guy not only on the golf course, but teaching you how to throw a baseball. That guy right there, big one. All right, so we're going to –
and his brother shows up occasionally.
Yeah, Greg will show up every once in a while. That'll work. That'll be pretty cool.
That'd be fun.
Cole, we're going to get you out of here. But I always ask this on the first time we ever get anybody on here. It's a question I've asked that's had some great answers, and it's basically, what is something that nobody knows about Kohl Drake? Let me give you some examples of some answers. Your general manager and president of baseball operations is Chris Young. His favorite, people don't know about him, he's a true crime junkie. He loves, like, First 48. He loves all the – yeah, he thinks it's the best show. He just loves those true crime things. A couple other guys, there's different things they do. What is something that nobody knows about Kohl Drake?
Oh, man, I don't really know. I do binge watch, Criminal Minds, so I do like the criminal stuff. I love shooter shows. Man, I don't really know. I'm kind of just a basic guy. That's a tough question. I can't believe guys have given some memorable answers. I feel like I'm going to be lame.
You're from Wiley, but you were born in Utah. What's all that? What's that about?
Yeah, my parents. I was born in Utah. That's where my parents lived at the time. Me and my older sister. And then we kind of moved around until we ended up in Texas for the long haul. So.
All right. Well,
when did you end up? How old were you when you got to Texas?
I was 10 years old. So we moved in February of 2010.
You can claim Texas. As long as you go through junior high and high school, you get to claim.
Yeah. I try my best to claim Texas.
Well, you can work on it for next time. All right.
Yeah.
So the what does nobody know about Kohl Drake? You got to work on that for next time.
I got you.
You get us an answer when we get out there. Cole, thank you so much for coming on with us, guys. That's how we're going to end the show today. Kohl Drake joining us. Hey, get out to spring training like we said. Hit that subscribe button down below. For Jeff Wilson, Kohl Drake, I'm John Moore. Until next time, guys, we'll see you at the yard.